Ted, you work in a corporate setting for a bank, but you're an entrepreneur. You have an entrepreneurial enterprise within a corporate setting. I know that you're an entrepreneur. Do you think entrepreneurs are born or made?
I think I would agree with everybody else that it's a combination of the two. I like to call myself an intrapreneur because I work for a corporation, but I truly run my own business as part of that corporation. There's a side when I look at how I went through some changes in my business, and we can get into later about some hurdles. I struggled at the beginning of my career. I really struggled at the beginning of my career until I began to think like an owner. And when I began to think like an owner, things began to change and things started to take off. But if you go back, so I started studying entrepreneurs and how people built their business. So that part was made. But there's also another side of me that says, okay, when I was 13 years old, I had a lawn cutting business, but not like most kids in the neighborhood. I had half the kids in the neighborhood working for me with signed contracts and everything else. I was delivering 2 competing newspapers, and I collected coins and used to sell those on the side. So there was always a certain level of entrepreneurship. I just didn't know what entrepreneurship was at the time.
Very good. And Ed, we'll finish this segment with you. What are your thoughts? You've always been an entrepreneur. I don't think you ever knew anything other than running your own business. And so I tend to think that you were born that way, but do you think that it was a product of your environment as well?
Well, I grew up inner city, and whenever there were big sessions or gatherings like this, I'd sit usually about 3/4 of the way back. So starting from that position, let me just describe our entrepreneurs born or made. I think entrepreneurs are born of necessity. I think what happens is you find that you're looking to try and fit into systems and processes and job IDs and all of that. And for some reason, your interest when you do any of those things isn't exactly in line, and you see a gap. And you say the usual why and because. Why is it this way? And if you manage to have a good because, you start to experiment and see how you might be able to solve it. What I found for me was in those 9 failures to 1 success mode processes, it was the exercise of the persistence and taking on phrases like, it's only over when you stop. So I might be sitting up here and have some developed businesses and enterprises, but what I found was that I was able to see a gap and work at it and think that I had the right solution, and then slowly bring my skills and the skills of friendships that I had created to the table, and an outcome came about. One outcome became a little bit larger the next time. Sometimes there were failures, and then, a few gray hairs later, all of a sudden you're sitting with lots of real estate assets and a foundation.
Well, few gray hairs is
Few.
correct. Yeah. And I have no gray hairs, as you can tell. So I have no hair.